All right, so in this video, I'm going to explain how important the FOMC meeting is tomorrow and who's saying what about it, plus what JP Morgan bought 54 tons of. Very interesting stuff. But first, please like and subscribe and check us down below for our CT Club where you get our trade alerts, portfolio updates. You get to see what we are buying during this accumulation phase or just the beginning of a bear or bull market, potentially. So this is coming from CNBC before I get into all this. This is very interesting. So the narrative is changing a bit. So it says Bitcoin soars to 9-month high as investors weigh risks and interest rates. CNBC Crypto World. Really interesting. This is very new considering that they had the front cover of CNBC not too long ago when Bitcoin crashed through $19,000 that, oh, Bitcoin's, crashing. It might be all over or whatever. And now they're kind of going, hey, there might be something to this, especially when Jack Mallers came on CNBC and taught people how important Bitcoin is compared to the Federal Reserve and what they're doing. So moving on to JP Morgan. So obviously they're such fraudsters, but here's a pretty funny thing. This just shows how much of a fraud they are. So JP Morgan bought 54 tons of nickel and stuffed it in a warehouse, in a Dutch warehouse. The nickel turned out to be stones. Yes, they just had 54 tons of stones pretending that it was nickel. These are such liars, it's unbelievable. Now let's go over the banking crisis right now. So the United States is looking into ways to guarantee all bank deposits if crisis grows. Obviously the crisis is gonna grow because this is all planned, in my opinion, all right? Just think, why are all the major banks being able to consolidate, right? All these little tiny banks, and Credit Suisse, okay, yeah. So UBS gets to buy it for pennies on the dollar, really? Yeah. It's big banks playing their little games, whatever. They're gonna print so much currency because just in the US, there's 17.5 or either 17 or 19.5 trillion dollars of deposits. So they're gonna backstop all of that. And then what's going to happen? They're going to create so many bad loans, all this. If you think 2007, the crisis that led up to that was bad, oh, wait till you see this whole fiasco blow up even larger. And this is going to be multiple times larger than what happened in 2007, 2008. Speaking of that, okay, so this is Michael Popey. He says, in 2008, crisis was never fixed. We're still living in it, through which the middle class became poor and having lower purchasing power, obviously through inflation, bank bailouts, all this other stuff. But this crisis is just multiple times larger and a giant bubble to face in the coming years. And guess what's going to happen? My prediction is going to be 100% right. There's going to be another crisis and another crisis and another crisis. More excuses for central banks to print more and more currency. Okay, so the FOMC meeting that I said was going to be the most important FOMC meeting ever, right? Until the next time, of course. Elon Musk says the Fed needs to drop rates by at least 50 basis points on Wednesday. Interesting. So you not only have Elon Musk, but you have Bill Ackman calling for the Fed to pause interest rates hikes. So not only that, but you also have Goldman Sachs saying that the Fed should pause. JP Morgan says that the Fed should hike. What the heck? So here are the predictions here. 21% chance that there's going to be no rate hike, and a 79% chance that there's going to be a 25 basis point hike. So now let's go over to Jeff Curtitis. He says, USD in a nutshell, Fed prints money causing inflation. Fed hikes rate to battle inflation. High rates break the banking system. Fed prints more money to prevent banks from going bankrupt. Inflation is out of control while banks are failing. Maybe Bitcoin isn't that bad. Yes, we've seen Bitcoin rise ridiculous amounts in such a short time because of bank failures. Because I think people are kind of getting it now that banks kind of suck and there's really no use for a bank anymore, traditional banking, because they're so reckless with the currency and what they're doing. Screw them, seriously. Credit Suisse, merger will be done without an approval of shareholders. Check that out. So the shareholders aren't going to get a say, but you know what? Here's some other news. Credit Suisse will still pay bonuses to staff on Friday. Yes, so don't worry about it. You're not going to go vote, but we got your bonuses. Don't worry about that. That was according to Bloomberg. All right, moving on. James Lavish on Twitter, he says, no, the banking crisis is not over. The rapid rise in rates and tremendous leverage caused by cracks in the system that we are just now beginning to see. So when the Fed stops raising rates or even pivots, it will be too late. And they will print again mountains of it. This is what I've been saying since I started showing up on this channel back in 2020. Heidi's been saying it way before that. So yeah, if you've been following this channel, you know that they're just gonna print, and that's their only game. And speaking about a game, Bitcoin's killing it. Biggest weekly gain since 2017, 2018. So as you know, there's gonna be tons of currency printing. You know what we are doing, especially if you're a CT Club member, you know that we were buying under $19,000, under $17,000, around the $16,000 level. I didn't get into the $15,000 level, but you know what? When it reaches $100,000 eventually sometime in the future, not really going to care whether I bought at $15,000 or $16,000, as long as I bought, because that's what dollar cost averaging is all about. That's what Heidi and I talk about all the time. So anyways, that's all. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.